Right, a number is given as 7.2 rounded to 1 decimal place. What is the error interval? So to help you with that, I'll stick a 0 there. So the upper bound would be 7.25, lower bound would be 7.15, and I've covered that in a previous video. So the error interval is written like this: x has to be less than 7.25 but bigger than or equal to 7.15. If you was to pick any number that's less than 7.25 but bigger than or equal to 7.15, when rounded to 1 decimal place, you will get this 7.2. You can just try it. So for example, if I pick a number that's less than 7.25 but bigger than or equal to 7.15, for example, let's say 7.24. If I was to round that to 1 decimal place, obviously you look at the second digit after the decimal point and you ask yourself the question, is it 5 or more? No. So you keep that as 7.2. I can try another one. Let's try another one. That's 7.16. Obviously that's less than 7.25 but bigger than or equal to 7.15. When rounded to 1 decimal place, you look at the 6. Look at the second digit. If it's 5 or more, is it 5 or more? Yes, it is. So that rounds to 7.2. But if you was to pick, let's say 7.25, this is not allowed. You'll see why now. If I was to round that to 1 decimal place, look at the second digit. Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So that becomes 7.3. That's not allowed, right? Because remember, in the question it says it's been rounded to 1 decimal place and you get 7.2. 7.3 is not allowed, right? So 7.25 is not allowed. The value has to be less than 7.25 but bigger than or equal to 7.15. Anyways, this is the error interval, and what I did was the explanation. Right, the next question is slightly different. Right, very slightly different. I've replaced the word rounded with truncated. Now truncated means chopped off. So let's read the question. A number is given as 7.2 truncated, i.e. chopped off to 1 decimal place. What is the error interval? So for example, if you had on your calculator display, you have 7.2 and whatever digits, right? You just chopping it off right there and you're just reading it as 7.2 regardless of what comes afterwards. There's no rounding like we've done here. Right, like we've done here, we've done rounding. Here, we're not bothered to round. We just don't care what comes afterwards. We just chop it off here. We're just keeping it as 1 digit after the decimal point. Right, now, I want the error interval. What could be the largest possible value? The largest possible value could be, well, it has to be a 7.2. It has to have the 2 there. 7.2, 9 recurring. Right, it cannot be a 7.3. It's not allowed to be 7.3. It has to be less than 7.3, i.e. 7.29 recurring. Because then you can chop it off here and say, oh, it's 7.2. So the largest value is 7.29 recurring, or you could say as less than 7.3, right? And the smallest possible value, well, it has to have a 7.2. Well, it's a 7.2. Okay, nothing less than that. So the error interval is written like this. X is less than 7.3 but bigger than or equal to 7.2. That's the error interval. So you need to be careful now, right? Look for the words rounded or truncated, or anything in the sentence that means it's truncated, like in the next question, right? This question and this question, it's the same question but it's worded differently. The answer to this question is here. Right, Hamid used his calculator to work out the value of number x. He wrote down only the first digit of the answer from his calculator display. He wrote 7.2. What is the error interval? So what he did, he just truncated it. He just looked at the first digit, regardless of what comes afterwards.